real world example of Sui using in production as Web3 ecosystem, some products that we can share to auditory?
There are a lot of products. So Sui, in general, the motto of Sui is onboarding the next billion users. We are trying to cast a pretty wide net on the type of products and ideas that we are trying to support. So in many categories, you will find some. If you ask me this question like 1.5 years ago when Sui was still at the beginning, like 6 months old or something like that, I could name you each and every product. But now 2 years later, we had our 2 year anniversary. We had its second year anniversary already. It's 6 days ago. Yeah, 6 days ago. So now, 2 years later, I'm not able to name each and every product that's on Sui. There are some that are localized within the US and some that I didn't have the chance to work with or to know about them. There are some that they are not my interest. But I will try to give you a brief. Some names that are quite big and quite interesting in as many categories as possible. Um, First is the DeFi. Okay, DeFi is in every blockchain, so I think this doesn't really need to explain. There are some DeFi lending protocols, like Navi, AlphaLend right now, Scala. There is Sweden, and there are the other type of protocols with the pools and with the liquidity pools like Aftermath and Bluefin and Citus. If you dive, I think this is the most easy to discover for any Web3 degen. Then moving on to the gaming side, and we are excited about a game that's called X Society. It's not live yet, but it will come. It's my type of game that seems that will have like first-person shooter or like it will be a hybrid of PUBG and Fortnite or something like that. There are a few games that are live, but the good ones sadly are still in progress. Making a AAA game can take up to 5 years, but it's only 2 years old, so I feel that we will still have to wait for the very good games. You can check out Lucky Cat, they have two mobile games. There are a few more that I'm missing, but again, if you search on the internet, you can find them. What else? There is, if you're interested in gaming, another project that is very dear to my heart. It's Double Up. This is an online casino though, so I'm not suggesting that anyone would go there unless it's something that you like to do. It's something of a passion for me, like games and would you code them and how would you do it, like this type of building games. The good thing about it and the good thing with blockchain is that it's all on blockchain. You can read the code, you can see your art, and if you like them, you can take them. Another big project that is going to be launching pretty soon is R2. This is on the art side, so if you ever wanted to invest in fine art, and by fine art, I mean the really expensive art that costs millions and tens of millions of dollars, you will be able to as soon as they launch. So you can own, they will tokenize them and you will be able to own as big of a piece as you want from maybe a Monet or Bangkok or stuff like that. Fan TV, it's another prominent name that also has a lot of connection with Sui. This is a social, sadly, I am ashamed to admit that I only checked their front page. I never, it's something like a YouTube on chain with creators that get the revenue. This is something that I'm really not into, but even I heard of it because a lot of people are talking and are giving very good recommendations and very good, like very good feedback about it. Let me think. In Portugal, when we met, I met another product that's called Sprints. This allows you to pay your utility bills in the US with Sui. Let me see. I had several them. The stock exchange of Greece, of course, is also working on a product, though I don't think I will ever use it. It's more for buying stocks and doing the initial ICO on chain. Yeah, these are the main projects. Oh, Quantum Temple again. Quantum Temple, they also helped us with setting up Basecamp. This is a project that I worked with in the beginning. We were contracts. Most of my colleagues, I audited them. I softly audited them. They have a marketplace on Sui where you can buy artifacts made by the traditional way by people that are remote, that learn from their grandfather how to create that traditional bell or whatever artifact. Maybe it's a bit religious, a bit spiritual, and they are trying to allow these people to actually sell their products through blockchain, and they have another project on regenerative tourism where you have passports and they have tourist destinations, and there is a way to actually claim points, proving that you're doing it in a eco-friendly way. So yeah, I will stop here. You should check out there. A lot of people are building on Sui and they're finding the technology to their liking. So you're going to see in every category, like, oh, there's Stripe, for example, as well. If you live in India, you can, in some cities of India, I think Delhi, and some of them, you can call instead of an Uber a Drive, which is a very large portion, an amazingly large portion of the whole code is on chain. And the way the drivers sign up, the users sign up, and you won't even realize it because it's on chain, everything is posted over there. So you will just see an app, you will just, sign up, and then you will call for a taxi. Most likely you will be paying in the local currency. Of course, there will be an option to pay in blockchain. And that's another amazing app that is going to slowly expand in Dubai and in Morocco if I end up as well.
Amazing. What you can say around the leading protocol in Sui ecosystem, like Warlus, Sui Nave system, maybe others?
A leading protocol. Okay, so in the case of Walrus, it's the next child of Missing as we started, the main contributor to Sui. It's an infrastructure company that's building the Sui technology. They started with Sui, which is the way they presented the compute layer, and then they needed a storage layer. They made Walrus. Walrus is a decentralized storage protocol that is separate from Sui, but it's using Sui as a coordination layer. And the way that we like to actually market Sui is like the global coordination layer. Like no matter whether you're multi-chain or however you want to build your project, you can safely use Sui because of its speed, your gas, and all the other perks as a coordination layer for different parts of your project. And the best example that we have, of course, is Walrus, where Walrus, it has a coin, but it's a Sui, and you can control, you can create, and you can store stuff using Sui and through the smart contracts, and you can delete them, and you can do all the things that you could do. There are not a lot of things that you can do in Walrus, mostly store or remove something from storage, and everything can be done through Sui. So they didn't add a logic platform or like Walrus doesn't have its own programming language or stuff like that. It's just bare metal storage layer, the storage protocol, and all the rest of the logic is on Sui. And we believe that this is a very good example on the way that you could use Sui as a coordination layer. The other big protocols is, the D protocol. That's what we call a liquidity layer. D book itself, it's a central limit order book that is fully on chain. Initially, this is a model that or the system that most exchanges, like stock exchange and something Web2 is being used. So the way that whenever you want to trade something, they make a type of order book. And stocks specifically, they use most, like 90% of the time, they use a central limit order book. This was not possible on chain before Sui due to technical limitations. Now we see that it's possible, and the answer is D-book. It's a fully on-chain central limit order book, and it's getting mad adoption. In many ways, it's a lot better than just an AMM, and a lot of companies that need liquidity and stuff like that, and projects are preferring it, and they are using it extensively. Of course, most DeFi protocols like Lufin and Citus and Aftermath, they all have, and Tria, they have the normal books, the AMM, the traditional ones, but they also have a lot of people. And you can check it out and see how it goes. SuiNS that you mentioned is a name system that was built on Sui, so you don't need to deal with addresses. You can have only names. Of course, you have to buy them. Only one name can exist at the time. Otherwise, you need for it to expire. It's the same with the DNS, the domain name system. And after that, you can add some names. You can add names. You can add the name for your for your project. So instead of telling so users can actually find on the explorers. And lately, another very good tool for developer, it was released that it's called Mover. And this is again a very big example of the composability that's allowed on Sui. So SuiNS was as a system for people to have names instead of addresses, and Mover is a package manager. So we wanted to have a package manager like NPM for the smart contracts and the packages, but we didn't want to do all the naming and all the stuff, so they use directly SuiNS. So as long as you buy a SuiNS name or you have a SuiNS name, You can register all your packages under them, and then you go to the mover portal and you just check, add your name, your domain name slash the package ID, the package name that you created, and you can see the contracts on chain.
Absolutely amazing. I love how everything in the ecosystem collaborate with each other, like Sui collaborate with Mover, collaborate with Varus, and you can feel like seamless tools, use seamless tools in ecosystem like as developer. Yeah, appreciate. Next question I would like to say it's what do you think key challenges currently facing Web3 developers and how Sui can solve it?
Yeah, so developers are always facing challenges that really could complain, at least me. Okay, let me not include anyone, but at least me, I like to complain all the time, oh, this doesn't work. But besides that, there are challenges that Web2 and Web3 developers are facing all the time. And I believe the challenges vary depending on your position as a developer and how long you're on your way to mastery. So if you're just a junior or new developer, you'll have different challenges compared to a senior, but at every step you will find the challenges. Sui per se, as a piece of infrastructure, like as a piece of code, a piece of software that's running on many validators, it's not really helping. It can't really help you besides making your life easier compared to other chains, but easier in the terms of coding and using it. But we at the Sui Foundation, especially my team, would be the ones that would be there to assist you in most of the challenges. So there are 4 big categories that I have in my mind. The first one would be the initial learning curve. So if you're at the start of your journey as a developer, first you need to learn the language, right? And learning a new language, especially if you know only one and you don't have all the basics like settled and the theory, learning the language is a hurdle. We are trying to do workshops. We have lots of documentation and videos, and people like you, Dennis, is also helping very much. You have many courses, and I sincerely suggest people to check them out if they want to start with Move, because all the basics are covered. So that would be like actions that we take towards helping developers that are at their beginning. And then of course comes either finding employment or finding a way to actually contribute to the ecosystem, right? Either you need an idea to have a project on your own, either you need to work for another project that it's actually there. We try to help in both ways. We are actually preparing right now. There was a job board and employment like website that we had, or like a page, but we're trying to revamp it and make it a bit better and a bit more accurate. Then we are doing lots of hackathons and many activations around the world, trying to actually find the developers that are already pretty confident in their move skills and they are ready to take the next step. And then we're trying to get to meet them and see how we can support them. If they have their own idea, we can discuss about it. In the idea department, I think the biggest hurdle that every developer or every even project needs to tackle is usually the regulation. So a lot of people have great ideas, and some of them are quite straightforward, like blockchain. Everyone that understands the technology, they can see many places in our life that it can improve them. The most classic example would be payments or voting or stuff like that. But the ones that are actually doing it already are not really ready to transition to Web3. So that would be one of the biggest, and we haven't found a solution there, like a definitive solution. So this is something that we will need to work together as more applications come up that are using decentralized technology, and the rest of the world are seeing how they are better or in which way they are better, and they make a decision that indeed it's a technology that we would want to adopt. Eventually, regulators and every other web company will start looking at this path. Like let's try Web3, something that our users want. It's something that it's by popular demand. And then I think developers' life will be much easier, either in finding employment and finding a good idea and executing on it. Until then, it will be a bit harder, but as long as you are really good and you're ready to see it through, so if you really like it, you really believe in your idea, my personal opinion is that eventually you will succeed and the returns will be quite great. This is actually, I can give examples of other projects that already did that and are succeeding, or they are on their path to success. You can check out the DeFi protocols. You can check out all the names that I give you before. Even if they don't have like super mass adoption, they do have a lot of users, and they are earning their revenues, and their companies are net positive. At least some of them are actually making quite a bit more than they need.
All right.
And yeah, and so this would be the issues. Again, we are in the DevRel team. If you want to start building on Sui, or you are having some issues or need assistance, please come into contact. We're here to support.
Yeah, it covered like my next my next question. As developer, what tools Sui ecosystem have for me for use, like some maybe SDK for front end, for back end? Can you share a little bit?
Yeah, so tooling, for developers, tooling is a very important area, right? If we have better tools, it's much easier to work and it's much easier to start working. For me, for example, which I like to procrastinate, I like to take it slow, and if I have to do a project that, I have to write a lot of, bare bone code or a lot of copy pasting, I have to remember where was my GitHub with that scaffold and more repo. I'm more likely to not even start the project. So as long as you have tools that make your life easier, then the developer experience gets better, and then we're seeing many more projects in that ecosystem. So we are cognizant of this fact, and there are 2 or 3 teams at least that are working on helping with developer experience, and there is also something that we actually support and fund. If any developer can come up with a tool that gets adopted and the rest of the developers like it, we're very likely to support it even financially and the maintenance of it and help in any way that you can. Now, that being said, the main contributors to Sui, which is Misten Labs, they come from Facebook. So before Sui, the initial blockchain or the initial idea was born in Facebook, and it was called Libra. And the fact that they come from Facebook makes it that we support React much better than any other front-end framework, right? Because they are colleagues at Misten Labs, they are people that actually created React. And I know a few of them. So that's where our heavier support there is, but our community is growing and it's quite large. So there are Vue lovers that have actually made the Vue tools for using Vue with Sui. And on the front-end part, I believe that it's not that difficult to integrate Sui because the SDK, the best maintained SDK is the TypeScript SDK, and frontend is usually either JavaScript or TypeScript. So and you just need to either read or write to the frontend to the blockchain, and that means you need a TypeScript SDK, and you actually need a wallet and to connect a wallet and a button the wallets and that part, which might not be done from frameworks, but that is something usually really simple to do. It's simple. I won't say it's necessarily easy or fast. You will need to devote like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, something like that, in order to create it. But once it's done, then most probably you won't need to change it. You can just open source it, and other people will just use it. The backend developers have more issues because the SDKs are all maintained by the community. There is a very strong Python SDK. There is a Unity SDK. But for example, a few days ago, I was checking the Java SDK, and I'm seeing that it has not been maintained for quite a long time. So right now, I can say that the Java SDK is lacking in the Sui ecosystem, and this is a pain point. Sadly, it's very difficult to start an SDK. More difficult, it's not just to create, but maintain. So it's something that we are willing to support as well, but it's not something that we can actually do ourselves because we're just 7 people or 9 people. And we have to do all the other stuff. So there are SDKs in many major languages. Some might be missing, some might be out of date. If anyone can out there come into contact, we can discuss how we can do it. And it would be of a great help for us. Again, for the rest of the tools, there are a myriad. So there is a GitHub repo. If you go to the Sui Foundation repo, github.com/Sui Foundation/awesome Sui, you will find a very great list with many examples and many useful tools that can help you start in your Sui journey. Because Sui also offers a lot of features like ZK login, which is a very good idea, but on the implementation side, it's not straightforward. You need to understand what it's being done. If you want to adopt it, you will most probably need an example. We have 5 of them. One of them is yours, if I remember correctly. And this applies to all the other features that we offer for Sui. So there are quite a lot of tools. And I'm more sad by the fact that it seems that not everyone is aware of all the tools, and maybe this is somewhere we haven't been doing a very good job, and we'll try to make a better job in making the tools much more known and much easier to find.
All right. As we know, Sui pointing to become new layer of internet, and how you can cover this plan to viewers to understand what exactly mean become kind of new internet.
So yeah, I think I carry that way of saying it. I prefer saying the new coordination layer. This plan actually assumes that Web3 will reach mass adoption. People will either start to demand Web3 in their application and ownership of the data and Web3 offers. So the providers, the ones that are building the projects and the apps and all of these things, we need to adopt Web3. And we believe at that point in time, Sui will be ready in order to, to be able to have the largest share and people actually defaulting to it. Strictly because of the advantages that we offer in terms of technology and innovation and features. And that would be the big plan. This is a vision that we have, that Sui should be, at least, even if it doesn't become the big player, at least not for lack of effort on our part on the technical side. So on the technical side, it would be a chain that you can, without even thinking about it, choose it, and you will be sure that you can scale your project with it. It will work. You will not have downtime. The gases will remain cheap, and all of these good things. And as adoption continues and more people come into Web3 and if they come into Sui, then people will start using Sui as a coordination layer just to be connected to all the projects that are live and all the apps and things that are being offered.
I would say as front-end engineer, it's for me it's much easier to start build with Sui than other chains now because SDK and CLI pretty grown up. And if you like our podcast, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Huge appreciate to Alex to participate us today. And
thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and have a nice day.
Have a nice day. It was lots of fun.
Bye bye.